Welcome back to this ENCA Moneyline special on Captains of Industry. We're speaking to Nonkululeko Gobodo. Nonkululeko, you could have easily gone and bought shares or gone into a BEE deal with a big accountancy firm and become a partner and not had all of the stress of starting out on your own. What made you go the harder route?
There was that temptation early, although when from the first day of articles, I wanted to have my own firm. So you are here now in this environment, and you are, you're doing articles at KPMG, and then you are offered this partnership. I mean, remember those days, it was in 1989. I was going to be the first woman. They probably won't want me to say that. KPMG, that in 1989, they didn't have a woman partner, black or white. So I was flattered. First woman partner at KPMG. So I toyed with the idea. And then, so these two white guys came to firm up now on these arrangements. And in that interview, because I'd been working with Doug Southgate, who has really been my mentor, and I could see this dream, I realized that I will always be in the middle, between black clerks and this firm. And I remembered, I have a dream. What about that dream? How will I ever know that I could do it on my own? How would I ever know that as a black person, I can do this? I need to prove to myself and to everyone else that there's nothing I cannot do. So they were very disappointed. Then later on changed my mind. I said, no, I'm very sorry. I want to still pursue my dream of doing this on my own. And I don't regret it.
Tell us about the first time you leave the firm that you started and what motivated them.
I'm not very shy to actually share my mistakes because I think we learn from mistakes. You are an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you get your adrenaline from the hard thing, just building this thing. Once it's built, you get a little bit bored. You want to move to the next level. And so I was pushing my partners, guys, here we are. Stella Star has given us these opportunities, 8 firms. Let's come together and form a sizable firm. And at that time, back in 1998, would have been 40 partners, don't know how many staff. This is a great opportunity. And they wouldn't say it. They were like, yo, Nonkululeko was still grappling with being medium-sized. You are saying we must move from here. And they were right. I got so fed up. I thought, as black people will never develop, let me go and do other things. But they were right. You need to grow and mature. You can't just grow quickly. And if we had done it back then, it's difficult now. Today, if we had done it back then, we'd definitely have failed. So you go through this journey of finding out all of these things, because I didn't know at that time that it was the entrepreneur in me that just wants to keep pushing.
Yeah.
But you're working with people, so you have to understand that you have to wait for people sometimes, you have to be patient sometimes. But even when I came back to the profession, because the only reason I came back really was to fulfill that dream that was not fulfilled, it still took a lot to convince them, because they were comfortable now. Remember, they've built these medium-sized firms, they're doing well. Why should they move again, But eventually they saw it. But look at where we are now. If we hadn't, we'd never know we'd do the kind of things that we're doing today.
Well, let's talk about the merger in 2011. You Google Nonkululeko Gobodo, that's what comes up. This major story, SizweNtsalubaGobodo. How did that happen? How did that come about?
So I come back and I find my colleagues still where I left them, not interested in going bigger. But I'm calm now, I'm more mature. I'm like, oh, okay, I will just focus on Gobodo Incorporated, because they had been talking to me for 2 years to come back, and I had this passion of economic transformation. I thought, okay, what am I going to do with my life now? Really, that's what I want to do. I didn't realize that economic transformation has to be practical. So God had his own way. And so I test them, and I find that they are really just not interested. So, okay, let me leave them and focus on this. And I remember I had this meeting with the current Auditor General. He was the deputy at that time. to introduce myself, I just relate to turn to the profession. And he says, Nonkululeko, well, we're happy we're back, and we hope that you'll attend to the strategic issues we've been struggling with. I must tell you straight, we are very fed up with you guys. As black accounting firms, we are so comfortable, we are not willing to grow. We've actually given up on them. This is what this man says. No, I get so shocked. No, please don't give up on us. Let me try. He says, I wish you luck. So I had this door now that was open. Guys, the Auditor General is giving up on you. And that's when they started to listen to the story of we need to consolidate because we'll never grow. There'll always be this excuse of we don't have capacity. We'll never do these big assignments if we don't grow. And it took, but even that took about 6 months, but eventually they listened, so we did come together to start the negotiations. But some of them fell off the wayside as we were negotiating until SizweNtsalubaGobodo were only the ones left on the negotiating table.
And how did you deal with the negative media, particularly with the whole Vusi Pikoli saga? Because that was taken as, oh, well, you're a black firm, therefore you are easier to manipulate by government. They'll tell you what to do and you'll say how high.
I think at the time, I had just come back and I was reviving our forensic unit, and he was really just the perfect candidate for it. And it's not that we didn't do our homework around, is he really high risk or not, or is it just a perception? And again, I mean, the things change within also these political parties. And when that storm came, it was a real storm. It was just at the time when we were just established this merger, it was so important for us to focus on what we've done. We really didn't need to be distracted by that storm. And so, for me, I was very clear to Vusi, which choice? Am I going to choose fighting Vusi Pikoli battle, that is not our battle, or am I going to focus on this dream of this big black accounting firm that we have established? And it was a no-brainer for me. I was prepared to take whatever the consequences of that. And but people must be very clear. We are chartered accountants. We are professionals. We make business decisions. For us, that was a business decision. And anyone who ever appointed us because they thought that we could be easily manipulated, they are very disappointed now because we do our job. If we have to report you, we'll report you. If we have to qualify you, we'll qualify you.
So in 2014, you decide, I'm going to, again, is it the boredom? Is it, I've done all I can, I must now go do something else? What happens?
Hey, that back again. That back again. But really, when I came back to the profession, I was very clear that I had unfinished business. And I never dreamt that it would happen so quickly. I never dreamt that it would happen at this scale, And so you look back now and you say, you've actually achieved what you came back to do. Are you going to just push these guys now to, we want to be a global firm tomorrow?
That's the next step.
That's the next step. Or are you going to leave them now to, let this new firm now evolve into whatever these younger people think it should be? So we had actually come to that place of maturity as a firm to realize that the merger is really, we've crossed this line, We've succeeded in this thing. We're out of the danger zone. Let's forget the merger structures and restructure the firm and have the right corporate governance structures. We don't need 2 leaders and all of that. I thought, this is my opportunity to sneak out again. So it is really the right time. When I came back, I actually said, I pray that I recognize when it is time for me to leave. Because, that those leaders who stay for too long, I don't want to be those leaders who stay for too long. And I think it is the right time to let them now move on with this vision.